Okay, enough about that front seal. I rebuilt this gearbox, and the way this works is this headstock with this boom on the end. It's got a round pin that goes into the gearbox, and that pin acts as a bushing pin, and that's what this boom swivels up and down on. It's got a hydraulic cylinder that picks it up right in there. And here is a replica of what we're talking about. And this is the exact one that's on this machine. And this is another one that I've rebuilt that is in the process of being rebuilt. Here's your headstock. Here's the pin I'm talking about. The pin slides over this. The pivot adapter slides over the pin all the way flush up against here. This pivot adapter sits about right here under the frame and bolts to the side of your banjo gearbox housing, and it rides in this surface. Now when this came from the factory, this was steel against steel, and naturally in a very short time you're going to have some oblong wear on one side of this, being you got all this weight and the boom hanging on here and beating on the ground. One side of this pin's going to wear and it's going to go out around. And when you get a little bit of play going in there, you're gonna have some side movement happening, which is not good at all, because this shaft, spline shaft, your digging shaft, runs through here, and it's got a pair of needle bearings inside this hub. Comes out, your splines come out about right here onto your gear, and when you get the side movement going on, your shaft is going to move from side to side, and it's going to raise all kinds of havoc and put pressure on things that you don't want. So that shaft that you just saw on the wheelbarrow there goes all the way to the end here. And this framework on the end here with a pillow block on the end, that's not ditch switch. I made that when I rebuilt this gearbox housing, because that was another weak point. You got all this leverage hanging out, leverage of the shaft hanging out here, and you're trenching through the ground, and you're going to hit foreign material, bricks and pieces of cement and things that you never imagined were under there, and they're going to come out. And when the auger tries to auger the dirt out to the side, it's going to bang on the objects coming out of the ground and beat up on the shaft, and again do things that you don't want to happen in here. So this is a really nice design that should have been done at the factory. But now this is nothing in this wheelbarrow goes with the sill. This is a separate sill, and the way I trued this up and made it round again is I did it the same way that this trencher's set up. Is I put this in a vertical mill, and the bearing race the bearing housing here is a machine true surface, so I centered it under the quill and came down with an indicator and put it in line, and then put a boring head on the quill and came down on the outside and trued up the outside and made a couple cuts, and then pressed this, made a bushing out of UHMW, pressed it in there, machined it to the ID to the OD to this, where it's a very tight fit. This is an oil impregnated plastic. It's real good, and it's better than bronze for this application, because if you ever taken a piece of emery cloth and UHMW and try to wear it out, you'll see what happens. It just furs up and you get nowhere. Now, I did this 15 years ago in the mid-90s, and you can see when I hit on the side of this, when I try to move this boom from side to side, the gap does not change there. If there was play in there, you would see that opening and closing. So this is still like new in there. and it's an excellent design. It's better than you'd get brand new. The shaft is better than you can buy from Ditch Witch, because Ditch Witch, their shafts are just a piece of cold roll or TGP, and then they 1 3/4, and then they cut the splines on it. This, I bought this as 1 7/8 and machined it down 1 3/4, so I don't start off, you know, as a cold roll. You may think you're getting 1 3/4 when you buy it, but it's not. It's already a couple thousand, it's 2.5, 3 thousandths under if you ever mic it and look. So I put this half a thou under 1 3/4. This is where the needle bearing races ride, and it needs to be a tight press fit, and so that's what this is, and it's the way I did this machine. And I did this the old-fashioned way. I put this in on a horizontal mill between a dividing head, and cut each one of these splines with a rough and a finished cut. And this material here is stress-proof. This is a steel called stress-proof. It's tougher, a little bit tougher than your 1018 or cold roll or whatever you know, your upper mild steels that they use for these shafts. So in the end here, is you can see I bored it out to a couple thousand, about 2 thousandths under the size of this stub that I slid in there. And how I got it in there is I heated up the end of this shaft, 1 3/4 shaft, to where it expanded, and then I quick slid that piece of ETD, 1-inch ETD 150 in there, and it shrunk around there, and it's in there. It's not going to come out. So yeah, there's no. It's a real nice deal there. And these teeth, this chain is set up real nicely, and these taller cup teeth are actually Ballantine teeth, and if you're ever digging in sand, you put all of them on, you can it really digs good, really flings the dirt out of there. These shorter cup teeth are Ditch Witch teeth, and here and here, and I cake the hard facing on there. When I buy them brand new, before I even put them on the machine, I hard face them a lot. That way I keep them digging at 100%. You just can't afford to be running all the wear and tear that goes on in this machine. You can't afford to be turning this chain in the dirt when you don't have the best stuff on the chain, because it's just not economical. So all the teeth are like brand new. These here, these rock teeth pocket holders, these are 35 bucks a piece, so it's 70 bucks. They last a long time. You just need to replace the $5 bit. And then again, I even hard face the bits, because I like them when they get a little bit worn and the carbide sticks out. And so it's expensive chain right here. You got, you know, 70, 110, 150, and so 140, whatever, and so on, all the way around the chain. These that you see that are elevated above the cup teeth, you can't buy them. And if you think you can, try it. But you won't find them that are tall like that. And I built these. I made them, and I got about 100 more. I got over 100 of them that I'll be selling that are not on any trencher right now. And I'm not going to give my recipe for that, but they are better than these. I did a lot of experimenting with them, and when I had them heat treated, I tested it with a Rockwell tester and found out right where the critical point where they would start cracking at, and where the toughness and cracking, I had to make it meet where You want them hard so the ID of the pocket doesn't wear, but yet you don't want them too hard, otherwise they'll crack. And you got to account for hitting cement in the ground too. So I've got these harder than any of the other factories because I bought everybody's teeth and played around with it. And what I did is Vermeer has really got a good idea. You buy their pockets, and they're already the ID of the pocket is 15 thousandths under Ditch Witch and Case and Parsons and everybody else. And so when the Vermeer teeth wear out, when the pockets start to wear out, the ID of it, then you just jump up to Ditch Witch's tooth and it fits in there snug. So it's like you get 2 chances at it. You get a whole second round. So, and that's what I did. I used the same bore size as Vermeer. So if you're going to buy teeth for these, you buy Vermeer teeth until they wear out and they're not worn out. You can see they got a little bit of play, but you need that little bit of play so they could twist and turn in the ground. Otherwise, one side will just wear. These are actually Ditch Witch teeth here. So, and also the sprocket, drive sprocket, I updated it to a split sprocket on this hub where it bolts off and on, so you don't need to take all this off to replace the drive sprocket. You can dig, according to this parts book over here, this trencher will dig 12 inches wide. They sell parts for it to dig 12 inches wide. I got a this is the factory J20 book, parts on it. They don't make they don't make a shop manual for this, but just a parts book. Then I got a book in here for the engine itself, how to rebuild it and parts on that. And then I got an aftermarket book that sells aftermarket parts for it, but I've never really used aftermarket parts on this trencher because Ditch Witch is so reasonably priced. The dealer itself, they're not bad people, and they're reasonably priced with the aftermarket. Unlike Case, it's a whole different story. I buy from Ballantine for that. Anyway, you can set this all at different widths. This is at 6 inches right now. You take this off and these down here off, and you drop right down to just under 4 inches, which is nice for a narrower trench. For a lot of times, you're only putting a 1 or 2 inch pipe down there, so you don't need to pull all the unnecessary dirt out of the trench. But I'm comfortable digging this at 8 inches wide, this, even though it says it goes up to 12, I wouldn't recommend it. I've done 10 with this, and you can't really go 36 inches deep. I've made this so it goes a little over 36 inches deep. I extended the boom. They sell longer booms, but you find that they get in your way when you're trying to maneuver around, and so I made this so it goes roughly about 40 inches deep. You got to count for a couple inches of loose dirt, and you need, too many times I needed 36 inches or code was 36 inches of cover on a pipe, so it goes a little bit deeper. I added some stuff onto the sprocket, the flighting here, because it was initially designed to go, 10 inches, dig 10 inches wide, 8 inches wide, and I don't ever do that. If I need to go wider, I grab another trencher. But I've got another J20 that all this is intended for. I got bearings, everything. Everything's complete on it. It's not completely put together. So that is going to be for sale, and someone might consider picking up both of them. They're a good old proven machine, and I got all kinds of teeth, chains, extra part, all kinds of things for sale that are not going to be listed. So if you want any more info, you can email me or use whatever contact information is listed. Okay? All right. Oh, and nothing in this is a separate sale. This does not go with this.